New York Times investigative reporter and NBC contributor Megan Twohey, co-host of PBS's and principal Amy Holmes and NBC legal analyst Dan Goldman. So we'll get to what's happening in Georgia in a second, but let's just pick it up with the latest on the whole Serena Williams dust-up at the U.S. Open. You guys been following this? So today, the Times of London is reporting that the umpires are considering refusing to officiate Serena matches now because they think the way she treated this umpire was shameful. And some are considering forming a union now to speak out because they don't want to be fearful of losing their jobs for making calls on the court. Can I tell you, I have been reluctant to weigh in on this because I love Serena. And I actually do think she's such a strong advocate and an example for women's rights and had the right message just in general about female empowerment. But I will tell you, as a lawyer, you know, I'm also a rule follower, and I believe the ump had every right to call her out on those offenses. The coach was coaching her. She had no right to call him a thief in response to that. She smashed her own racket. And ultimately, his progressive penalties were what the rules allowed. And he's a fastidious rule monger, this guy, with men and women. And I spent 3 days looking into it. Get me the history on what he's done to men. Get me the history on what he's done to other women. And if you look at it, he has been a fastidious rule monger with the men, too. He's just like a Felix Unger type.
But
he's a stickler.
You use the word that I think is most important, which is he's allowed to do it, but he's not required to do it. And there was a way of diffusing the situation when you know the next penalty is a game. It's not a warning, and that's a difference. You have to have
because it's progressive penalties in tennis.
Right, but you need to use your discretion.
She knew that too.
She did, but certainly people have spoken to him, men have spoken to him in worse or as the same or worse.
And he's penalized them. He has penalized them,
but not
Dan.
in the final of the U.S. Open, and I think it matters. Forget about Serena or not.
I totally disagree. The rule is the rule. It's take it up with the USTA if you don't like the rule. I mean, progressive penalties are a thing in tennis. And if you watched live the commentary, Lindsay Davenport, former U.S. Open champion, was talking about, Mary Carrillo was pointing this out yesterday, saying, this is somebody who's actually lived it. This Lindsay Davenport said she got a violation, she got a second violation, and she said before it happened, the next one's going to cost her a game.
Wow.
I mean, it wasn't, she knew what was heading her way. Martina Navratilova has come out and said the same thing. Had I behaved like that on a tennis court, I would have expected to get everything that happened to Serena.
But she also said, by the way, there are soft warnings that did not happen.
He was under no obligation to give those.
Of course he wasn't. No one's saying he's under obligation. But
I was saying, my expertise in tennis is my college sweetheart, who was a tennis player. And we played a lot of ping pong, so I know it's a very mental game.
Yeah, it is.
Okay? It's true. Mental game. But I did really respect Martina Navratilova's op-ed in your newspaper, the New York Times, that she was saying we need to actually raise the bar higher, not lower, when it comes to behavior on the tennis court. That men should be held to a higher standard, not that women should be held to a lower one.
Well, and listen, it's also important to point out that Ramos is going to be umping games this week. I mean, he hasn't lost his job. I mean, this was just something...
He says, I'm good. It's his fellow umpires who are saying, what's being done to him is unfair. He's an award-winning umpire. He called it like he saw it.
Right, and it's one thing to talk about the need for these umpires to unionize so that they can have an official voice if there is controversy that arises. I think it's another thing to say that they're going to boycott Serena's matches. I mean, talk about escalating this even further. I mean, is that where this should be headed?
Well, I mean, listen, the guy himself says, I'm good. But even though she called him a thief on that court.
And a liar.
And a liar, repeatedly. And he wasn't lying. She was getting coached. Her coach has admitted it. I mean, that is the fact. That is the fact. Even if you're a Serena lover like I am, I have to get to what's happening down in Georgia. Paddling is coming back to a school down there, K-9 charter school, where they sent out consent forms to parents that would allow the schools to paddle them, saying it's one more tool we have in our toolbox. 1/3 of the parents out of the 100 students so far have said yes. You get whacked on your rear end. You have to bend over, hold on to something, and they whack you in the rear end. Now, I know we are Yankees, so it's like, you know, up north we don't do a lot of paddling, and down south they may do a little more of that.
Well, as a Yankee, I was spanked as a kid.
Me too.
I'm personally against it, but I think I turned out okay, although it might be why I'm still single. But what I saw as a problem here is that in this school, you're going to have different punishment for the same thing for different groups of kids, depending on if their parents allow the spanking or don't. So I can just see some kids going, "Ooh, your parents love to spank you. You're going to Mrs. Smith's, classroom to get paddled."
I'm gonna instigate something.
It's a 5-day
exactly.
suspension
Or
if you don't
suspension.
consent.
Which is a very
I
different
would choose the paddling.
Right, rather than
Done.
5-day suspension.
Rather than have to stay home for 5 days
But
with
the
my parents.
studies do show. I mean, the American Academy of Pediatrics says corporal punishment may affect adversely a student's self-image and school achievement, and it may contribute to disruptive and violent school behavior, student behavior.
Yeah, and not only that, it disproportionately affects Black students and students with disabilities. So I think that there's also questions about the way in which this is applied.
Yeah, we'll continue to follow it. Thank you all so much. Great to have you here today. Don't go away. We'll be right back.